Dr. Haque is a professor in the Department of Islamic Finance at the University of Malaysia Sabah, where he is ranked as number 2 among all the faculty. Dr. Haque's research on Islamic finance and fintech innovation has earned him worldwide recognition, including a second runner-up position at the InnoFest competition in 2021. Dr. Haque's research and newly developed model has been lauded for its potential to create a bridge between conventional finance and Islamic finance in North America. So please welcome Dr. Haque.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I know that all of you are a bit tired, and also most of them actually left, I can see. But I'm glad that you guys are here and to listen my presentation. First of all, I would like to thank Guidance College and definitely the organizer of the NACIF because who are actually giving me the chance to present my paper in front of all of you. And secondly, I'm also glad that I just see that a lot of Islamic scholars who are actually presenting from yesterday until now, and actually you give a lot of insights and incorporate that how the North American Islamic finance should be involved and also developed in the recent future. And it is important for us that who are actually graduating that means masters in Islamic finance and who did the PhD in Islamic finance, all the the graduates, they should come up with the ideas how to develop more in the North American area, especially the US and Canada. And so the alumni of I always prefer that when I see that some of my alumni, they came and they are doing great in North America. So I always tell them that I always actually mention that it's important, much important that what you are doing and how you can develop in the future. So thank you again. And I just would like to start my presentation. That from yesterday that we have learned many things about that, what is the growth of Islamic finance in North America, how is the situation and what type of things we need to be done in the future. But now I'm going to discuss about something like very recent issues that which could be involved and which could be related with the Islamic finance or the global Islamic stock. And because the most importantly, we need to talk, if you think about the stock market, if you think about the investment, the stock market is the most important part. And Islamic stock is now they have the better growth, and especially for the recession time, especially for the COVID-19 crisis, all the financial crisis time. So if you see, my title is the impact of the last 3 US presidential election on the Islamic stock market using event study methodology. Okay, there is a lot of studies actually has been done with the particularly single election with the conventional stock market, but there is no attempt until now that nobody has been done any research that how all the US elections can have the impact to the global Islamic stock. Because it's that I was teaching in Malaysia. I'm still teaching in Malaysia, and in Malaysian people who are actually the Malaysian investors, especially the Muslim investors, they are investing in the global Islamic stock. And sometimes some of my friends, they call me in 2020 elections, when US election was there, they told me that what happened, I lost some money. So I said that yeah, of course you didn't know that there is election is going on. So definitely there is a consequences. You need to know. So the event study methodology is very simple methodology, but it's very significant methodology. Where actually a person who doesn't know about the methodology, but he can do the analysis in the Excel. And he can understand actually how to do that and how to check the stock market situation. What is the volatility? What is the upgrading or the downgrading the stock market? So that's why I choose these things. And actually, I want to see that how the last 3 US elections actually can have the impact to the global Islamic stock. Another important thing that last 3 election, there is a changing from the Republican, Democrat. So definitely there is how the story can be, that means can change. So you can see from the analysis. Okay, so I already mentioned to you this research paper actually examined the influence of the US elections on the Islamic stock market, global Islamic stock market. So I was taking the Dow Jones Global Islamic Stocks as it for my data set, and it was from 2012 to 2020, and this data actually includes the Dow Jones Islamic indexes, markets, adjusted closing prices, and these results emphasize the importance of understanding the intricate dynamics of political events. You know that why the events are important, why the information is important, because the stock markets is changing because of the wrong information or that means true information. So asymmetric information also can change the stock market the situation. So the information is very important. Event is important. So we go one by event. That means event by event, like event 1, event 2, event 3. So that event 1 is actually 2012 elections, then 2016 election is event 2, and 2020 election is event 3. Okay, so if you, I already introduction. I do the introduction actually about the paper. So this paper actually regarding, if you see that in US market, whenever the election has happened, there are some factors actually can involving with the US election situation. First is oil price and energy policy, then trade and sanctions, global risk markets, sentiments, interest rates and monetary policy, and geopolitical stability, and not the least, the sector-specific impacts. So sector-specific impacts, you can say that the global Islamic stock is one of the sector-specific impacts. So if there is election going on in the US election, and I think from the next week, the voting will start. And this is the part actually the people should look about the stock market conditions. So the any times whenever there is a debate between the Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, so there is a consequence can be happened in the stock market as well. So not only that the election itself, that the day of the elections, but the 10 days before the election, 10 days after the election, we need to know actually how actually it goes one by one. So if you see here from the next, this is the literature review that I mentioned to you. The lot of literature you can find that who are actually involving and who are actually have done the research on the conventional stock market and the elections, US elections, but there is no study has been found yet that actually how the US elections can have the impact on the global Islamic stock or not. So the data I already mentioned to you that I gathered the data October 1, 2012 and November 24, 2020. And then after that, this event day since when the election results are announced. So Wednesday is the designated as the day of our event, and event 1 denotes the Tuesday, November 6, 2012. Results announcement for election 1, event 2, the Tuesday, November 8, 2016. Results announcement for election 3, event 3, the Tuesday, November 3, 2020. So all these events actually can give you the proper idea actually how the stock market is volatile is every 10 days. So this is the methodology. I was using the event study methodology, and my variables are 3: average stock price, abnormal return, and cumulative abnormal return. So from these 3 variables, actually we can find the difference actually how it goes with the average stock price, what is the impact, what is the changes are going on about the cumulative abnormal returns and also the abnormal returns. This is the hypothesis. So my hypothesis 1 is actually the price of Islamic stocks in the United States varies significantly before and after election in event 1, event 2, and event 3. And H2, hypothesis 2, is actually for the abnormal returns, and the H3 is cumulative abnormal returns. Okay, so these are the findings for US election on 6th November 2012. So all we know that Barack Obama was there, that time was there. And if you see here that the Democratic Party, when they own the elections, then how it behaves. If you see here that average stock price the mean was 2643, then it's come to the 2714. So there is increasing, but not much. If you see that the respectively is only 71 points compared to the normal day. So only 71 points. So the investors can take the decisions from the previous trend if the election is going to be held and election is like Democratic Party is coming to the power. So the how it can be trained for the stock market. So the investor easily can understand from that perspective. So then if you see the average, abnormal return is 0.001238 and which is slightly positive. These indicates that stock price is performing as predicted. But if you see the after the 10 days, that one I told about the before 10 days of the elections. But after 10 days, there is negative 0.00108, which indicates that the market performance is not as expected. So why the result? That means everybody can think that, okay, this is very predictable, that we know that for the any kind of elections, it can be affected. But from perspective, that if you are individual investor, that is not much. But if you are investing in big volume, the very negative or simple difference, very single amount difference would be very huge volume of the difference. So if you know how to invest, if you know how to manage the portfolio, then it will be easier if you can understand the event study analysis from that perspective. So these the results from the 8th November 2016, and this is very interesting because suddenly the from the Democratic is coming to the Republican. Donald Trump won the elections. So before the election, especially before the elections, 10 days before the election or 1 month before the election, there is a lot of rumors, there is a lot of news was actually established. People are saying that Hillary Clinton will come. It's true or not? Everybody said, oh, is Hillary Clinton will come because she's gonna win. But when the election results will come, then we saw that Donald Trump came. So the investors, especially the Muslim investors, they are thinking that, okay, if somebody's already decided, okay, she is coming to join, she's coming to win the elections. So how they react in the stock market. But when the results is coming, changing, the winning, who is the president of the United States. After that, after 10 days of the elections, the stock market is behaving differently, rather than 2012. That is the difference that we found in the results. So that's why I said that it's why it is a reason because the Democrat to the Republicans, because when the Republican comes, they are more on the conservative. So if they're more on the conservative, so the Muslim people, investors think, oh, something will happen, because they will think in different way. They will think in different, okay, we will give some sanctions to the Middle East, some countries, policies for the oil price policies. So all those things come into the mind to the Muslim investors that it can be happen. So the stock market also behave in that way. Okay, this is the 3rd November 2020. Joe Biden won the elections, and we found that the trend actually goes with the 2012. Because when the Joe Biden came, so it's how the 2012 it was behaving is almost the similar, but there is also massive changes. Why massive changes? Because we found from the literature, we found from the information and news that Joe Biden is a very old man, and when he will come, he will take the different types of decisions. So people are assuming, investors are assuming that, okay, the decision comes which is not going to be very, convincing to my stock market policy. If I want to invest something, so it's better I need to be reserved more. So that's why the changing the results shows that how the global Islamic stock markets can be, that behave after the elections happen or the new president come to the positions. So in my conclusion, I just want to mention that US foreign policy, especially regarding the Middle East, has a direct impact on the Islamic stock markets, because I know that they are taking a lot of policies on the Middle East about the oil price, about the sanctions, about the war crisis. So all those things come to the point. So you never know that after these elections, what type of policy will come out. So definitely the investors are going to take the decision actually what will be happen. That's why if we can see the different results. So if you can see the trend, if you can do the analysis with the event study analysis from the last 3 to 4 elections, so if you know the trend, the investor can be safe for the next elections. So that is the most important part, that how actually the academicians, if they want to write research papers, they also can get the help from there. And also the investors also can get the help from this paper, that, okay, I see the trends, so I need to be careful on this period of time. So that is the way. Then Islamic finance, that we all know that is prohibit the interest and riba. So global monetary policy still actually affect the Islamic markets. US elections always can signal shifts in Federal Reserve policy, and which in turn influence global liquidity and risk appetite. So because you know that how the if Federal Reserve is increasing or decreasing, definitely it will be impacted to the South Asian countries, South Muslim countries, and also the Middle East countries and Malaysia as well. Then also Islamic stock markets have significant exposure to sectors such as real estate, banking, and infrastructure. Policies that influence global trade, infrastructure investments, and foreign aid to Muslim majority countries can affect these sectors' performance as well. So finally, I just want to mention that empirical results of this paper actually provide evidence to suggest that in generally the investors in global Islamic stock markets responded negatively to these US election results in 2016, because 90% news was showing that Hillary Clinton will win the election, and in the immediate run, but after 1 month or 2 months, immediate run, eventually they adjusted their sentiment, and with several exceptions to these pictures. However, in other 2 elections, we found that the market are inefficient in the short run, but in the long run, they're adjusted, they're making the adjustment. So these findings reveal asymmetric reaction of investors following the announcement of any US president's winning the presidential election, but it was more affected after 2016 election when Donald Trump won. So, and that means we are not finishing the paper yet, because we want to do some robustness test. We are going to use the multivariate GERCH, MGERCH, DCC MGERCH, because DCC MGERCH will give you the idea what is the volatility situation. So from the period of 2012 until 2020, and even after that, because we have now it is 2024, and this election I can actually involve, I can make it, and I can show that what type of influence actually happening. So still I'm asking the suggestions from you how to improve the paper. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.